Good afternoon. It is August 18th, 2023, and today we had a range day. You can see the overnight highs and the lows just before market open or just after, and you can see a midline that influences prices. So uh, most of the day from like 8:30 on has been spent in this range. And the lows haven't been very consistent. You can see we got these two bounces here, but then, we got this low, this low, this low. These two match up, but this one's like new. Um, so people probably treated this as a double bottom. We broke lower and then reversed. And here on the daily chart, you can see this range that I'm looking at, or at least significant price levels that I'm looking at. It looks like we're finding support on this low. So we'll see. And it's only 12:34, so market closes in about 20 minutes. But let's take a look at what I did have marked so far. In the overnight, you have this downtrend. I think more people were playing this steeper move right here. And right at 5 o'clock, you get a second entry short. First entry, second entry. And even if you want to look at this as a double bottom, well, this looks like it probably ticked higher, went lower, then went higher. So there's reasons to like that. It looks like this might be a midline as well at that point. Unless, some people probably played it like that, in which case you think it's an overshoot. But look at how nice of a trap that is. That gives me, I didn't look at it like that because I was just playing this like the midline, but that gives context into why this worked so well, because that looks like a trap. And then we just go lower, get another leg down. I would say if you, oh wait, so they trapped the shorts who jumped in too early here. Stop those guys out unless their signal or their stop was above this. They made this micro double top, then we sold off. So maybe, if you like something like that, but to me, it looked like we were going to go sideways to a break, and that's what happened. So, and if you're not looking at this big channel, well, like I said, I think most people are playing this, and you just get a break and two legs down. Two-legged correction in between those two legs down. So then you get right at the open a very nice reversal. If you are reading this correctly, and this is why I think most people are playing this, if you are reading this correctly, I say you have that. And if you're playing this big channel, well, just take profits right at after this bar, something like that, 57. So yeah, that gets you enough for a scalp back to this trend line. So I think that's worth the risk. Get a second entry, but the signal bar is no good. And now here it just looks like we're going sideways. Could be something like that. Yeah. I don't think you want to go short on this. Very close to the EMA. I'm not crazy about that. The bias is up. Breakout to the high side. You get a first entry, failed second entry, back into this range. Another reason I like that is because it's right at the midline of the overnight highs and lows. So why not go long here? Well, this is clearly a channel right here. In my opinion, I think this trend is valid, and I'm looking for a new low. And to me, at this point, it's still not clear that we're not making that new low. What else? Reasons to not buy this. Yeah, I was really just looking at this midline. So anyway, I like that failure. Come down. Let's see if this has any relevance. Also, so it went further than the measured move of the midline. But anyway, we come back in here. We bounce right there. And you get a first entry, second entry. You can see there's resistance in there. I wasn't playing this as a range earlier. So here, I was just betting that we were still going to try and test this low. So you get that second entry. I like that one. And then you get this quick double test right there. So I like either of those. A lot of resistance right there. But then when we fail to make that new low and you get this move up and then this sell off and then we go higher, it's pretty clear to me that, you know, we're going higher. This is a really nice trend in here. Let's extend that just for context. So yeah, we break out to the high side. Eventually that leads to a breakout to the low side. Come up, test those highs, bounce here once more, and reverse. So I'll leave that up. I don't think you can take this. Maybe you do though. Balance. I don't see anything in here. And that's what this happens a lot is when the range has a breakout, even one breakout, but two breakouts, usually that means the range is no longer going to influence prices, or at least not as much. So this is clearly an uptrend. And maybe look at this as the second pullback, 1, 2, but no signal bar. This is a higher low. And this also looks like a two-legged pullback, but it's in no man's land. So you're taking a risk there. It does end up working. First entry, second entry, again, you're in no man's land. This signal bar is even worse. And they give you this higher low. But something you got to notice is we got a double top up here. So you should reset the count, which makes this a second entry long. But what was I looking at here? Okay, yeah, again, we're in no man's land. So here it worked out. Here it doesn't. That's what makes this an aggressive trade. What else? This is the doji. You got resistance right here. And look how much larger this leg is than that one. So maybe you're just expecting a second leg down. So they trap a bunch of bulls right there. And this is just part of a larger trap of the bears. You can see we get this first entry, second entry. Signal bar is no good. However, it is off the trend line. It's also a double test. So there's reasons to be looking at that. But the signal bar is not good, and it just felt like it was part of a larger trap. So then we get this boom overshoot. And if you see all this, we haven't had a new high at this channel. You know, this is at a level of support. I'm pretty sure it's like the 50% mark of this move. Yeah, you see it's just about at the midline for this large move up. So if you see all that, maybe you take that, and it turns out to be an excellent move in which you probably would have. Look at all that room back to the EMA. That's something to consider. So if you take it at the first tick lower, you would have gotten over 13 points. It's a nice move. And look at all this resistance up here. Okay, so that holds prices. We break below the EMA. You get this channel down, and you get what was this? I thought this was a failure. Okay, first entry, failed second entry long. I like that in real time, and I marked it red, but I'm gonna have to mark that green because I feel like that probably bounced. We're probably going into the midline of this move. Yeah, I mean you got space, you got room. You can see that pretty much perfectly bounces at that midline. Um, so you got space. It also looks like a hidden second entry short. I got to mark this aggressive though, because another thing I wanted to bring up is this much level of resistance. You know they're going to want to try and test it again, and that's exactly what happens over here. So that's definitely an aggressive move. We come here. I guess I marked this probably because of the double test. But look how sideways this is. You can't be banking on that, especially after all this bull movement. Steep channel up, breaks, come down here. And after this double top, huge bear move. Maybe you take this. It's just a first entry, so I really shouldn't be marking it, but it was tempting. Uh, and we bounce a little bit below the midline again. First entry, second entry. I like this one because after this double top, I'm just feeling uh, bearish, but you know it comes down. I like this because it was plenty of room back to the EMA too. But once it bounces, you know this has to be looked at as an important level of support. And so you do get a reversal right there, but it's kind of in no man's land. However, there is room to the highs. So maybe you take that one, high or low, boom, drop down. Looks like this might be the first break. Maybe this one is because it's more convincing, but you get a break here. This is actually a second entry long on an inside bar. But with all this back and forth, I don't think you can take that. This kind of looks like a visual second entry, two-legged pullback. So maybe you take that off the trend line, gets you a scalp, but then comes back, probably stops you out your runner, and at least scares you to go long here. But people do like this. It goes higher. First entry, you see that gap right there. Failed second entry, so that's a pretty good setup right there. But you can see a lot of traders waited for movement off the trend line. So I'm going to have to mark this green because it's not a failure. This is just a double top. Slight overshoot leads to a break. Make a new low and we reverse. And we are rocketing up. So I'm guessing what's happening is that level of support on my daily chart, people are realizing what's happening. And so they're buying. Look at that. Nice bullish bar. You'll probably get a lot of, if this finishes bullish, you'll probably get a lot of people buying just to test the midline. Whether that is the midline on this pink range or the midline on this larger channel. So we'll see. Market closes in about 13 minutes. Hope everyone had a great day. I'll be back tomorrow.